So I do have one of those units. I don't know if I'm going to keep that one or not. I kind of partial to that one. That's one of the ones I'm considering holding on to. I've got several kinds of trailers, different size trailers that are compatible with these vehicles. Like I've got the 2 trailers that go with the LMTV and the MTV, which are the 5-ton or the nearly 2-ton trucks that's compatible with those. So I've got several trailers that would go with the Humvees as well. And I have 2 large generators that are like the big ones that are about this big, like a big diesel engine that could power like several city blocks. They're pretty nice. I like those.
So once again, for people that might not have heard it, how can they get a hold of it?
Well, the email address is Beaver, like the animal, beavergm@yahoo.com. One last thing about my dad, by the way, to close it out. Dad was a patriotic kind of guy. He flew the flag every morning. After he retired, he'd put the flag out in the morning and bring it in at the evening, post the colors. He did that every day as long as he was healthy enough and able to.
For people to find out more information about some of the collection that you have and some of the collection that we're seeing now through the photos that you provided, is there a way that people can reach out to you in some way?
Well, yeah, they can always send me an email. It's beavergm@yahoo.com. So you can always contact me that way.
And some of these photos that we're seeing is just of this massive collection. A lot of it I couldn't mention, but maybe some people would probably know that. They can call you, talk to you more about that information.
Oh, sure. I like to talk about it, as you can tell.
Community TVTN is brought to you by Security Federal Savings Bank, proudly serving the community we call home.
Grace Family Pharmacy announces new medication packaging service. It provides a simpler, safer medication experience through convenient, personalized packaging using the latest in pharmacy robotics. Our phone number is 931-473-6418.
McMinnville, you're a great place to be. McMinnville, Tennessee.
High-quality leads with prolific internet marketing and invigorating web design services that will energize your business. We are SiriusSEM. Call today or visit us at SiriusSEM.com.
Dr. Pepper. Good for life, good for the community.
Welcome to another edition of Community Insider. Join us as we travel Middle Tennessee, uncovering history and experiencing the adventure of unique stories and events coming to you inside your community.
Hi, I'm George Beaver, Jr. This is my significant other, Judy Thomas.
Hi.
And we're here today to tell you a little bit about our Hummers that we've collected. We'll start with this one. This one's called an Avenger. And the thing that's different about this one is it has a metal casing on it because they fired missiles. There was a missile unit set up in the back of this, and they would fire missiles. So they had to have a metal compartment so they wouldn't get any blowback or whatever on the drivers, operators of the vehicle. You don't see as many Avengers. They had also a heavier weight-bearing capacity to carry the missile unit. That's one of my favorites because it's got this really nice hard top. Over here, this is a standard, this is a soft top 4-door. This is kind of a standard configuration where, you have 4 doors. You can look inside it. I keep them stock as military. I try to fix them up to where they're running smooth and there's nothing wrong with them, but I don't try to demilitarize them in any way.
Now, George, tell me first off, I guess, what got you into collecting Army vehicles and Army things? It's not just vehicles, it's other things too, right?
Yeah. Well, my dad was in the Army Air Corps. He joined the Army in about January of 1941, and the Pearl Harbor wasn't until December, so he was in the Army before the war. And he served.
Your dad's name?
George Beaver Sr.
Okay.
And he was served in North Africa and Italy. And when he got out of the military, he went to school for a couple of years. And then after that, he came back and he got in, at that time in 47, I think it was, they started the Air Force. So he was with a group of guys in the Air Force Reserve up at Stewart Air Force Base, which used to be in Smyrna. And then they were going to mobilize the group to go to Korea, but the Korean conflict ended, and so he didn't actually have to go to Korea. But he was serving in the reserve at that time.
So this is no doubt, when we're looking at this different equipment, tons of history, and for you, there's a tie to that history, I guess, with your father and his service to the country, right?
Yes, Dad was always excited about the military. He always spoke of it fondly. He said that he felt everybody could do with a tour in the military. It would just grow you up and teach you a lot of things. Those are holders for fuel cans there. Each different one is configured a little different. They don't all have a place for a fuel can like this one. But
the other thing that off camera me and you talked about, with all this collection that you have, you're looking at possibly handing this on to someone else. Is that right?
Well, I collected them for a while, and now I'm getting to the retirement age, and I'm like a lot of people. I had fun collecting them, but I think it's kind of now time to share the collection. I'm ready to get rid of some of them and pass them on to other people to enjoy, because I can't drive them all at once, so probably got more than I need. This is another 4-door soft top, and this here is a mobile power unit, it's called. It's got 2 generators on it so that you can have power in the field for whatever you want to run. Now they have individual units that are much bigger than this, but this is just their version of a small power plant.
We're talking about this one. This is even 3-phase.
Yeah, all the military can be 3-phase. They've got 3 lugs on them, and then I think it shows it on here. There are different ways to wire them up, whether you want it to be whichever phase you want to run it at. Most of the time the military runs them as 3-phase, but that's not a requirement. I mean, if they need to wire it the other way, they always can. Then this here is one of the trailers that's made to go with this. And this particular one has a hard top on it so that you can carry cargo in it. Most of them have soft tops like those others did, but this particular one has a hard top. I thought that was pretty cool, in case you need to have enclosed cargo. Oh, hello there. Yeah, y'all are on the wrong side, and watch out for the gopher holes there. Now you can see this one. This one has a hard top, and it's a 2-door. This is closed up. They have little cargo bays on them. But in this one, it's interesting the way they do it. They the back of the seat will come up and lay down, and it makes the floor panel in the back. So to convert them from 2-seat to 4-seat, you just simply take a panel out and lay it down. And here's another one here, and this is the standard cargo box. Once again, it's got the soft top on it and the rails, and this is for 2 passengers, and you can put more cargo in the back, of course, because it's deeper.
And that one has a winch on it as well.
Some of them have a winch, some of them don't. They give them a different number, different model number when they have a winch or when they don't.
So, how many pieces of equipment do you have?
Probably around 40. Yeah. And most of them are Hummers, but I've got 2 of the old school deuce and a halves, and then I've got what's called an MTV and an LMTV, which are the equivalent of the 5-ton and the 2.5-ton. I think the LMTV is actually 1 3/4 or something. And then I have actually a command post. It's an enclosed box, and you can take a crank and crank the sides out to 17 feet wide. It's got a console down the center, so you just open the doors and crank that out, and it's a mobile command center. You can set up operations or set up your radio, whatever you need in it. When I bought it, I buy them from the clearinghouse for the military, so they'll take a certain number of pictures. Well, this one didn't show a picture of the inside, but I got it at a really good price, and the engine had been rebuilt, and it only had like 4,000 miles on it. The total miles were still under 30,000. I mean, this is a truck that's not completely broken in yet. When I got it home, much to my surprise, I opened it up, all that stuff was still in there. So I had planned to like maybe make it some kind of monster camper, like a prepper would like, you know, now by gosh, you can go camping with this and go wherever you need to go. But when I had all the equipment in there, I hated to tear it out, you know, so I've still got that one too.
If there's a Hollywood film company that's looking for all the stuff they need to make a good war movie, I mean, that you could fix them up, you know what I'm saying?
I could. I actually know a guy named Nate, and he lives in Copper Hill, Tennessee or Georgia. It's right on the borderline. And he did that. He provided military vehicles to the movies. But
In the show MacGyver.
yeah, he had a specialty vehicle on MacGyver and other shows. But another company came in and kind of pushed him out of that. But he's still working on the sets of movies and keeping the vehicles running. And he's bought a bunch of imported things like Japanese or Chinese cars. So when they want to film a movie that's supposed to be somewhere else, he provides them the vehicles to make that work. I always told him if he needs some backup vehicles, I was available. But if you'll see here, there's a hole here right now, but like basically that's where your feet would go. And if the seat back was here, you just lift it up and it covers that hole.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I wish I could rent mine out. He had a good thing going, but you know, he was working out of doing all the shows in Atlanta and other filmings around here, and he did really well. But he said another company came in that was bigger than he was. They were covering more geographic area, and it kind of ran him out of renting his military stuff much. He still does every once in a while, but he's moved into, like I say, those foreign vehicles, and he also maintains the vehicles, so that's why he's still working, because he can keep them running for him. Now this is actually an ambulance model. It's a Chevrolet. It has a full ambulance body on the back. This is another one I thought might make a good camper vehicle, because it's got electric and even oxygen run to the back if you needed oxygen. But this is another example of the kind of military trucks I have. Now I actually have a Humvee that has the full ambulance box on the back of it. So I do have one of those units. I don't know if I'm going to keep that one or not. I'm kind of partial to that one. That's one of the ones I'm considering holding on to. I've got several kinds of trailers, different size trailers that are compatible with these vehicles. Like I've got the two trailers that go with the LMTV and the MTV, which are the 5-ton or the nearly 2-ton trucks, that's compatible with those. So I've got several trailers that would go with the Humvees as well. And I have two large generators that are like the big ones that are about this big, like a big diesel engine that could power like several city blocks. They're pretty nice. I like those.
So, once again, for people that might not have heard it, how can they get a hold of it?
Well, the email address is Beaver, like the animal, beavergm@yahoo.com. One last thing about my dad, by the way, to close it out. Dad was a patriotic kind of guy. He flew the flag every morning. After he retired, he'd put the flag out in the morning and bring it in at the evening and post the colors. He did that every day as long as he was healthy enough and able to.
For people to find out more information about some of the collection that you have and some of the collection that we're seeing now through the photos that you provided, is there a way that people can reach out to you in some way?
Well, yeah, they could always send me an email. It's beavergm@yahoo.com. So you could always contact me that way.
And some of these photos that we're seeing is just of this massive collection. A lot of it I couldn't mention, but maybe some people would probably know that. They can call you, talk to you more about that information.
Oh, sure. I like to talk about it, as you can tell.
Miss Robbie, what was your maiden name?
Melton.
Robbie Melton. And yours, sir? What is your name?
George Mason Beaver.
George Mason Beaver. And how old are you?
86.
Okay.
I'm 87.
86 and 87. Married you an older man, huh? Well, I'm gonna start with you, Miss Beaver. What is one of your earliest memories of Warren County?
One of my earliest memories is one of the real bad floods that came over in West Riverside. Seeing that there was a store building there, it was called Step Store, and they had it tied with ropes, hoping it wouldn't wash away. And you could just barely see the roof of the store. And you could, somebody, people always be doing things, walked across the railroad bridge, and the water was right up to that railroad bridge at that time. And I remember everybody was down there looking at the flood. That's one of my earliest memories of something that was really happening.
Right. How about you, Mr. Beaver? What is one of your earliest memories of Warren County?
I was there, I don't know. I remember the 01 was where Lively Studio was over here on Connell Street. When it burned, I was just a little bitty boy, looking out the front window, and it burned at night, awful big fire. It looked like the whole end of the town burning up.
So you remember that when the photo studio, or the photo school, I guess it was a photography school, wasn't it? Lively School of Photography. Now, did any of you or any of your family ever serve in the military?
Yeah, I did.
Did you? What branch did you serve in?
I was in the Army Air Force.
Were you?
I went in 1941, and I enlisted my dad. I wasn't old enough to get in. He had to sign me in. I was 20 years old. I joined in June, and in September I'd been 21, but 21 when the camera built then. Had to be 21 to get in the Army, so he signed me in. I went on from there, stayed into this war,
World War II?
Yeah, I was in the 15th Air Force.
Okay. So you're one of, I think, described as the greatest generation, aren't you?
That's what they say, yeah.
Good. Well, thank you for your service, because I know, that had to be hard for you and hard for your family, and I can think a lot of people take for granted the freedoms we have because of the military. So